All right. Go live. Shoot. All right. So I think we are where we need to be. Okay, so it looks like we are live. All right, y'all. So, welcome, everybody. This is the live review of the 10th episode of Lovecraft Country, and we have a few folks in here. Hello, welcome, all you wonderful melanated people. Thank you so much. First of all, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What's up?
I need a minute.
Wait, where's my light?
Yeah.
So,
right. I don't know. All right. So okay, what about this show overall? So forget this episode, but just overall, how we feeling about the show? How we feeling about what's been going on?
I love the show. Love
it. Absolutely. And honestly, I'm not even really the, sci-fi girl. I'm not really, that particular thing, but I love what they did with the show. Like it was the drama, It was the adventure, it was the black girl, it was everything.
The storytelling was what got me the most. Like it was so unpredictable. There was nothing that you could see coming, I hope it's not a one-off, but it feels like it's just a one-off.
I heard they said it was.
Yeah. I hope not, but I mean, if it is, let the creative team do what they do. But I hope not.
I'm not even mad if it is a one-off, but I was just like, yo, come on. Like this whole episode, I'm like, man, I hope my favorite character come back. Like George was my overall favorite character. And I'm like holding up, twisting, please let him come back. Nah.
Honestly, man, let me just say this. Honestly, I've never experienced anything like this type of show before. Like, as far as like black sci-fi, like the whole futuristic black Afro stuff, and then how they incorporated the history stuff in the show as well. Like, I've never experienced any type of this before.
Okay.
So I don't want it to be a one-off.
Let's stop right there before we get too deep. Definitely didn't introduce nobody. So.
I know, right? We got straight to it.
I'm Rhayne Coleman, the Carefree Black Nerd.
I thought I was late and I missed that part.
I completely fucked that up. So Carefree Black Nerd, Carefree Blurred on Twitter. This is Lovecraft Aftermath, and then y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves, and then we'll get right back to the conversation.
Ladies first.
What a gentleman. Well, yo and hello, it's me. Just call me TMarie. Tina Marie. Podcaster, videographer, shit talker, all of the above.
I got that.
Oh, my name is Cole Jackson. I am a part of the Government Podcast. I also am a part of BYK Radio, the podcast network. I do it all. Name it, I do it.
Yes.
All right. My name is Shogun. I'm also a podcaster, also co-host of the Good Name Podcast, and I don't do it all, but I do most things.
Okay, that's good. So use the hashtag Lovecraft Aftermath when you're listening to this episode, when you're watching reruns of this phenomenal ass show. Okay, so Cole, you said nothing like this. You've never seen anything like this. I think that's accurate. I think it is. I think the closest thing I could say is like this is like maybe a children's TV show where they specifically like teach kids about history and teach kids about drugs and whatever else. Like the way it's framed. But as an adult, I can't say that I've seen anything like this either.
Right.
At all.
Right.
So how many of y'all have read the book? No. That's cool. So I've read the book.
Bought it today.
Look at you showing off.
I bought it today.
Oh, wow.
Okay, good.
I didn't get the memo. Y'all didn't see me on that email.
I didn't know I had to do homework. I'm sorry.
Right?
I mean, no.
I typically bought it because listening to Rhayne's podcast, episode by episode, him knowing what's been going on and the changes that they made, I just told myself, yo, I'm about to like really dig deep into the book and kind of see what they're not telling me or what am I missing or what changes that they made. That's how cool I think the show is. So I had no choice. I had to get the book. I had to.
He had no choice.
Yeah. Okay, I see that. I honestly recommend everybody who liked the show, even people who are like against this show, I recommend everybody pick it up. Mainly because it is like the source material for the show, but the show I feel did a phenomenal job at keeping true to the essence of the story, but diverting a lot and a little bit at times that made it such a different thing. Like being into comics and comic book shit, when you see somebody doing an adaptation of a book that you like, you want it to be like, oh, I want it to be like that. I want to see the Phoenix in her green suit or whatever. This, I think, had the benefit of not having years and decades of like continuity to follow, that they even found a way to incorporate the book into the show with this like multiversal thing. So I say pick it up. I say give it a read.
I mean, I haven't sat and read a book in a very long time, but you've talked it up enough to where I'll consider it.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. And it's broken up not into chapters like 1 through 20 or whatever. It's broken up more into like stories. Like literally the first story, Atticus it's a lot of the book, but it's just his story. They say you can read it in any order. I don't know about that because all the storylines kind of come together at the end, but I think it's worth the shot. I think it's worth it. So
I'll put that on the to-do list.
So getting right into this fucking episode. So last episode, finale episode. What's up? What's up?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Can I just say I am sad Ruby died. Mm-hmm. However, Ruby? She deserved that shit.
Ruby?
Because she been playing and getting on my nerves this entire time.
Okay.
I'm just going to jump out and say that off rip.
Oh, man.
Take that as you like.
Wow.
Okay. Cole, what you got for me?
I think the biggest thing was the whole episode. I was just like, don't trust that. You can't trust that. Don't trust that either. Like you can't trust any of it. The only thing that I trusted was when they started off trying to help the little girl and going through the history and everything and talking to his mom. Oh my god. But that was to me the whole episode. It was not a lot of people I could really trust. It was a whole I just knew something crazy was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And, that was it. Like I was just like, you cannot trust any of these people. You can't trust them at all. So
I knew something was up when she showed up with, in the 11th hour with that vial. I was like, something ain't right about this. I don't like it. Pineapple.
Yeah. it was too full. I was like, nah, fam, that's not the vial we saw.
Right.
That was too full.
It looked too full, too fresh. It was it was just too much.
Yeah. So what about you, Shogun? Look, you've watched every episode, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So how are we feeling about this one in particular?
I mean, I was cringing the whole way through, especially I kept expecting somebody else to die. Like you couldn't trust anybody. I didn't expect the black people to win in the end. I was ready for a twist. So I was happy when Ruby died because she's my favorite like woman on the show. She's beautiful, but she was just terrible. And I understand. I understand where she comes from. Like she was dealt a bad hand, but fuck out of here. I just the tension that I had throughout the whole show. It was some scenes I didn't even want to look at my TV. I was just like, nah, boy, I know something's about to happen. Something terrible about to go down. But I mean, I just want more. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You want more of the show, or you want more of what is it you want more of?
Well, whatever they just did, whatever I just watched, I want them to do that again with more. So the continuation would be great if they could pick up off of the I forgot her name, the daughter with the hand. Yeah, if they could do something with her, I'll be all for it.
Oh my gosh, that ending with her and the metal arm, like the.
I'm saying, like, what is this? Y'all can't just start this up and then end it.
Right?
Yeah.
So no, I was very impressed.
I really want to see what Misha Green has to say about the follow up to this for real, because she's been real interactive with the fans on Twitter, and I do want to see where she's gonna is she gonna follow this up? Because if this is a one off show, like we can't. I mean, I know, and people are saying Watchmen was the same way. The Watchmen show was like a one off, but I mean, we don't get a lot of black sci-fi stuff at all. So I really I'm hoping that we can get a second season of this.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah. But I think that's what would make it that much more special, though, because it's like the one-offs, popping up every so often. I think that it makes it that much more of an experience because we all get to share that, and we will always have that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want it to become something that they play with and then they eventually like let it die down to where it doesn't meet our expectations, like a lot of our, white fave sci-fi whatevers. So I don't know. I think I enjoy it as is. I think, don't touch it, don't taint it.
Yeah.
Let it be great.
I see you. Are we here? But
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, I'm with you though. I think I like that line of thinking, especially if we get more, not necessarily more of this show, but more show of this quality. Because I'm starting Watchmen, a Watchmen review series. All of y'all welcome to come on.
Watchmen
is great. Yeah,
Watchmen is really good.
Everybody is like, this is probably the best time to jump on because it is in the same vein. I would hate to get to 7 seasons of Lovecraft Country and they'd be like, oh, they should have stopped at 3.
Right.
But I want more shit like this, because that I Am episode.
Yeah.
It's
a mind bender.
Look.
I mean, where do we start? Where do you want to start?
Give me your favorite episode. What's your favorite episode right off the top? Or favorite at the moment?
I want to say my favorite at the moment was it Jigga Bobo when they do the whole reenactment with everything, where it's like where Leti is the pregnant one running through the burner house with the book of names, and that kind of like all came together. Like that moment was was it that one or was it Rewind?
It was the one before. Oh no, Rewind. Okay,
so Rewind is my favorite.
Okay.
Rewind, because once that happened and I realized in the moment what was happening, it was like this light bulb moment, and I love that because I never really get that in shows. So like the fact that I was able to put it together so quickly, I was excited for myself. I was excited for the writing in it. Everything's fitting in so smoothly, and then it made me excited to want to see how they were going to wrap it up. So that one would be my top favorite, and then close number 2 would definitely be the I Am episode.
Yes, Lord. Shogun, what's your top 2 or your favorite so far?
My favorite episode has to be episode 1 because this show is so unique. Like I was watching it because it was black people, and I was watching it because it was like a period piece, and I'm like, man, look how tough they are. They got to deal with all this oppression, and then actual people might get killed in this. And the fact that they were just trying to make a travel guide to assist other people when traveling, you're like, all right, this show is kind of cool. It's different. I've never seen history being told from this lens. And then all of a sudden you see these monsters just jump out of the woods out of nowhere. And it's like, yo, what the is going on? My heads are getting chopped off. And I'm like, yo, this is something different.
Yeah,
you watch this. And so ever since then, it grabbed my attention. I never heard of this story. I've never heard of these characters. I've never heard of any of this stuff. But it's so unique. But it's so it's like how did nobody think of this until now? You know, but now it's been around for forever and nobody's touched this.
I don't think that nobody thought about it. I just think that there wasn't such a high demand for stuff like this. Like people have really like been talking about wanting Black sci-fi for as long as I've been introduced into like liking sci-fi. Like I've always heard it as a thing. So I think that now that we have this space and the means to do it ourselves, we're getting these opportunities to show. We always had the ability to. We just never was given we were never given that platform.
I mean, you didn't watch Homeboys in Outer Space?
Oh my God! Wow!
So you want to know my
classic with Flex Washington? Come on.
See, I would have said Pluto Nash, but you got that one.
Now I go for the deep cuts.
What about you, Cole?
The Jigga Bobo?
Yeah.
Episode, clearly, that's my favorite episode because of the setting. Like that's it's set on the day that Emmett Till's funeral was, and that alone, like just being able to kind of go through it from a different set of eyes and seeing how all the community showed up and how one of his best friends was feeling, and then on top of her being sad about the whole situation, she gets a spell casted on her, like a curse put on her,
which was gross, by the way.
Yeah, the dude spit on the girl. I was like, is this camera?
That happened in the book, and see now I'm honestly envious of all of y'all because I'm like I went into it like with the book in mind, so there are things that I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything, but there are certain things that I was like, okay, I knew this was coming. It didn't make it less interesting, but like that, I didn't know if they were going to do that because in the book, Diana is actually a boy, Horace, and it was they terrorized him too, but the visual of the way they fucked with her, fam, they failed that girl.
I mean, they had the little two-step and it was creepy, but it was cool at the same time because it was like they are in sync with each other. Like,
you dancing with your killers, nigga.
I cannot remember the woman's name, but it was an actual choreographer, like a world-renowned choreographer who actually did the choreography for those two young ladies. It was unbelievable what the stuff, the talent that they got for this show. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the Easter eggs. Y'all know my hill that I die on is representation in comics and related media. That's the hill I die on. The fact, and this, oh my God, this further proves, and I hope Marvel, DC, and anybody else is looking at this show, because this is what happens. Okay, this book was written by a white man who I would imagine is woke, if we're going to use that, because the amount of care that I saw in his story, when I read through the book, there were like one or two things that kind of got me as, this a white man writing this book. But it was never anything like, oh, she looked outside and they said, nigger, go home. It wasn't anything like that. So when you give a property to a creative team that represents that project, you get gold. Can you imagine if you give a Storm movie or a Bishop movie or a Spawn movie that is helmed by Black nerds? This is a book that a white man wrote that was released in 2016. You give it to this creative team of Black people, and we got these Easter eggs that are like real life. Motherfuckers looking up Emmett Till like this is a hidden character in a video game that they knew nothing about before.
Right.
You know, it's like, give us our things, goddammit, and let us watch magic happen. So,
and see, that's something that Watchmen also did very well. Like Watchmen took the Tulsa incident, and that brought that situation to new eyes. Like a lot of people didn't even know that happened up until that episode came out, and to see it being portrayed in this show, and it's like the reasons that they were killing people versus the reason that they were showing it on this show. It was like, come on, bro. Like Articus's father was my second favorite character. Not because of what he did in the show, because of his struggle. Like I was the most interested in that character because it was something completely new to me. Like these things I never would have thought about.
Okay. You know? I like that.
I'm from the South, and I have like relatives who were extremely like homophobic, and then to see him being raised in a household like that, like his father beating him up just because he was hugging on a little boy or whatever. I mean, it just puts a lot into perspective.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, cool. I like that about the show too, because you know my thing is always like conflict resolution and stuff like that, and how things relate to real life situations, and some of the things that it brought up, like the relationship between Leti and Ruby, and how the light skinned sister and the dark sister, and what that struggle is like. The same thing like you mentioned about Montrose being gay and having to hide that and taking out that frustration on Atticus for no reason other than he can't be who he want to be. Then the Facebook groups that went crazy, and then now they have this whole thing about is Tick a fuckboy?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because he ain't got no job.
Yo. This nigga fighting crime. He's fighting crime.
The show brings up a lot of conversations. It's good writing. It's good storytelling. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. This is some Black Twitter material right here.
Listen.
I mean, he kind of is a fuck boy. Fucked two ladies and left them alone. I mean,
and then got them back together.
Then you got both your joints working together to say, come on now. Like, what is going on here? What is going on?
Bruh,
and when they showed that snake, that was legitimate it. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't no hallucination.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so with this episode, we done been through hell and back. Sitting here talking about it, I'm feeling kind of like you, Shogun. I like this episode, but now I'm looking back at it like I wanted more from this episode.
I just wanted my nigga George back, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's coming back.
He ain't coming back.
I think that's one thing about shows that I love the most. Usually the characters that I really enjoy are the ones that get killed. And that's I mean that's the testament of a good show though. Yeah. Nobody's off limits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel you. I think George was an awesome character. I wanted George to come back this episode too. Bro. I love George. But it also to me, if they would have brought him back, that kind of would have cheapened the finale for me too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He was just like the rock of the show for me. Like he had all the answers. He was just lovable. He was kind. Like it was just a cool character. And we don't see a lot of Black dudes like that on TV. You know what I mean? Like a man's man, if I can say that.
Right.
It's just weird that, I was pulling for him the whole time and then took him away.
Man, and for everybody to have that same feeling, and he was only in there for two episodes. Like, I mean, I say 2.5 because he came, later. But like from episode 2, everybody was like, okay, Uncle George. That's Mr. Angelo Bassett is now everybody's Uncle George. So like, yeah. No, I get it. I got the same feelings. I miss that nigga back.
I miss my Uncle George, y'all.
No, for real.
Man.
Oh shit. Okay, so then going through the episode, getting D, I guess focusing on D for a second. She went through hell in the last episode. And she comes, through all the magic and shit. We get her back this episode. Her and Hippolyta. I don't know what y'all relationships like with y'all mamas or what they were, but fam,
it hurt me.
This episode got me. Go ahead. What's
it got me because she was like, look, I had to do what I had to do because I was trying to figure out a solution for us. But she was like, but Mom, you left me. And it was like, God, I mean, she was stressed. Her husband just died, and she couldn't even show any signs of like weakness. She had to be strong for everybody. She needed a minute, and then, unfortunately, so much stuff happened in that minute. I mean, she was gone for eons. Almost.
Yeah.
But it might have been a week in the show's time, but it's just like I felt for both characters, but I understand where she was coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Cole?
Just kind of going off of the way Uncle George left, and her feeling like, yo, like you got to think about it. Like I'm looking at it from her point of view is like, I ain't got nobody. Like I don't have a mom or a dad, and all of this crazy stuff is, and I just lost my best friend to some bullshit.
And she still ain't processed. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I completely, I get it, man. Like she lost her best friend, she lost her dad, her best friend, and then she thought that she lost her mom. Like, it just and she's a kid. Like, you got to think what the weight that she was carrying after that happened, man. Get out of here, bro. Like,
and then to go through all that, and you leave me with our crazy ass family because George is probably the most sane. Hippolyta second runner up, and then D was third. Like you left me with the crazy part of the family. These folks is great.
Yeah, Montrose too busy drinking.
I mean, he had a lot going on. You know, he had a boyfriend that he only cared about when he was angry. You know what I mean? He's like,
look,
you only like me when I'm angry.
Hey, I mean, I felt them. I was like, bro, I feel you, dog. You just got to get it out sometime.
Man, okay. So with that in mind, now I'm curious about, and I don't know if this was addressed and maybe I wasn't paying attention, but if we can assume that Tick's mama was in love with both Montrose and George. Now we don't know; it ain't been confirmed who the daddy. Whatever, that's fine. Well, but my thing is, go ahead. Well,
they kind of told us throughout the episode without telling us. So, and I think it was the first and maybe the second episode, they had a hallucination with everybody. You know, the white people was making the black folks see right. So with Tick, he had to kill the Asian lady again. With man, I don't know none of the kids. Yeah, with Leti, she saw Tick in the room.
Yeah,
and then with George, he saw his true love. Yeah, that's what they called her. And then at the end of the whole season, you see who the true love is, and it's actually Tick's mother.
Yeah.
And when I put that together, I was like, oh snap! So was she really the beard for Montrose the whole time?
The way I saw it. Go ahead, Cole.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, but it just felt like it was implied. That's how I looked at it too. It felt like
because you know, before George died, he was like, I thought we settled this already.
Yeah,
don't bring that up. You know, it's like that's your son.
Yeah, and I thought that too, and I'm still in it. But that little polyamorous throuple conversation she had with her son, I'm like, okay, so that's kind of good. I'm good with that. But can we get a timeline? When the fuck did Hippolyta show up? What was her relationship with Tick Mama? Because it's like, I mean, now I got a baby with this man. This is my husband, but
Tick Mama killed herself, right?
No, I thought she died, man. Because I got the book in mind. She died when he was a kid, right?
I thought she killed herself.
Well, either way, I guess it probably would have been before Hippolyta came around. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to know. That's like a plot hole that I want something to be confirmed.
Killed herself, right?
Probably. I mean, shit. You married to Montrose, and you in this fucking no. You know what? That's rude. I take that back. I'm sorry. That was horrible. But yeah. So we go through all this shit. We see her. How do we feel about these flashbacks? This like ancestral plane.
Black
Panther shit. Okay.
I loved it. Me being from the South, one thing that my parents and my family always talked about is don't get involved with none of that witchcraft. And seeing something that's involved with witchcraft, I was just like, oh my God, this is so taboo. Like, whoa, I'm not used to any of this. But I get it. Like, you know, they had to make a deal with the devil to bring, to save the family. But then at the end, they ended up submitting to Christ. So it was like, okay, I see what they're doing here. He got baptized at the end.
Yeah, that was, even though I saw the trailer, that was still like kind of unexpected for me.
It was very unexpected.
She's like, nah, I was a Christian before all this ghost shit. Nah, come on, Atticus. So, what about you? Since we have done Black Lightning Matters podcast, which is coming back pretty soon, even though Black Panther did it first, yeah, this remind me more of Black Lightning.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me was the explanation of the fire.
Yeah.
And how they said that was supposed to be her own personal hell until she understood how to control it, and she controlled it, and that was her rage. Oh man, when she went into that, and then just talking about what he has to go through, and then I thought it was really cool that Leti had to go with his grandmother, and she was like, "I'm gonna teach you." She's like, "I'm gonna teach you," and she was like, "But Tick," she was like, "No, Tick he got his own thing. He got his own thing. He got to take care of. I'm gonna teach you. You're gonna be a part of us, our family living on." Like basically, looking back at the episode now too, it's like she basically was like, Tick's he gonna die regardless.
Yeah, that's really what it was. They said it. They was like, "What is family if you're not willing to die for him or something like that?" To that extent, it was like, wow, man, you got to make a sacrifice.
That episode hit me, man.
Yeah.
That episode hit me hard. I can't lie. And when they went, and the thing was, and one of the things that happened that was so cool was, like the first time when they had to heal D, and they was around the bed, and then later on when they had to cast a spell to bring back
Titus.
Say that again.
Titus.
Yeah, Titus. That hit me hard too, because it's like we just a strong family circle. Right. We're gonna live on. We're gonna make sure we live on, even the ghosts from the past coming back, and we're gonna sit around and we're gonna make this work. And you just don't see stuff like that on TV, man. Like you don't get to see that kind of stuff, man. Like I don't get it. Why don't we have more shows like this? Because oh my God, like
because it's easier to just throw a white person on the screen and let it be, whatever it is. Like this, of course, we don't know the behind the scenes, but I would.
I'm so sorry.
No, you good. But I would imagine that it, like, okay, watch. Did any of y'all watch Orange Is the New Black?
Yeah, I watched it.
So when the first 1 or 2 seasons came out, it was said that the chick who this was her actual life story. In order for them to make this fantastic story of these black women in prison, you had to do it shoehorned into this white woman as the face. Now to the point where with YouTube and other platforms, people are making their own shit. Hell, Issa Rae was just the host on Saturday Night Live from Awkward Black Girl for 2011. So now that we are in more control of our own narratives, I would imagine that they look like, okay, well, these motherfuckers is doing it on their own. You might as well throw them a bone and make something happen. So these stories are out there. It's that story, Witches, that I don't know if that's the exact title, but them 4 Black Witches, it was a YouTube series that was crowdfunded. So we have stuff like this, but the backing ain't there. The big machines ain't behind us like they are, a motherfucker that want to make Girls. Girls was a show, but ain't no way that should have been made up.
Girls, but I get what you're saying. But I feel like, do we even really still need those big companies anymore? Like, is the internet not a machine enough? Is word of mouth, is social media, is that not enough anymore?
I mean, Hollywood is on the decline right now.
Thank God. Thank God. I'm with you. I don't think we need it. I think with its reach, maybe, because I think this show came at the right time. I think, Cole, maybe you said something like this, that we are all in the house, we are all quarantined, and this show, unlike any other, has come out, and now it's polarizing as fuck. And you got so many people with so many thoughts. Some people don't like it because it's trauma porn to them. Other people like it and they don't understand it because they don't know what the fuck going on. Then you got other people who love it, are diehard educators. Like, I can tell you this, that. There's syllabuses. There are programs created around this show. So
syllabuses.
Yes, that's it. So yeah, I don't think Hollywood is needed, but I don't know.
Yeah, the only bad thing is we need those large platforms for distribution. So you're gonna need an HBO, you're gonna need a Netflix, you're gonna need something like a YouTube. I mean, you can make a successful story without the Hollywood machine, but you need to reach more people. And you know, once you build a foundation, people like us, you know, we're gonna push it out there. We're gonna talk about the show, and then they're gonna do something in this universe. I mean, it's too much excitement around this for them to just let it go.
Yeah, it's got to be more creative.
At least I hope.
I'm hoping too. I think it would be amazing. And let me say something else too. Like I really didn't think that like J.J. Abrams would kind of like get up under like this is through his production company Bad Robot. I really didn't think he would grasp this the way he did because he's got a lot of input on this show as well. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of tell by the way some of the stuff is shot. You can tell by the way some of the things go. And for J.J. Abrams to be kind of deep in with the show like this, I think that's amazing too. And I think that helped the show a lot more too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get this light up. Okay. So if there is a season 2,
I'm about to fix it.
If there is a season 2, what do y'all I can't even say what do you want to see because like shit. Well, I guess no.
I'll tell you what I want to see.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I want to see what happens with that monster and that little girl. How did she control that monster? Like, did they switch? I guess there was a scene where does she have blood in her? Like, how was she able to control the monster?
It was in a scene while they were doing the flashbacks, where they were doing on the flashbacks, where it showed Attica, it showed Tick and her, like he took her hand and put it on the monster's head, and I guess he was trying to transfer the spell to her. So
I was wondering why it didn't show up when they had him strapped to that thing, and then why it was like bothering her in the woods when she was minding her business. But now that you mention it, I do remember that in like one of those little flashes. Yeah, maybe he was like, all right, he knew he was about to die, so he might as well.
Well, I got that, but you know, the last scene they showed of the monster is like it was banging on the cellar door, and they was like, let me calm it down, and then that was it. But then you saw that red glow of the fire from, you know, the dream world. Like, I'm a little confused by what happened there, but I still love the episode overall.
Yeah. I want to see, because we are in quarantine and so you have to be a bit more creative. You can do a couple episodes with just Diana, excuse me, and the monster. Like, shoot her with her mechanical arm going through space and shit. Like, there's stuff you can do. Like, they've laid the groundwork for a lot. And also, I want to see them dig deeper into Black history, because the way they incorporated into these different episodes was stellar. Like, yeah, I want to see that. What about you, Cole? What's some crazy prediction?
No, honestly, I would really like for the story to be continued with the raising of George, you know, Tick's son. I would like to see how he has a family. I want to see how Montrose treats his grandson. I would like to see what type of mom Leti would be. I would love to see the family environment. Also, in the episode, you know, they brought up the fact that like they bound all white people from magic. That keep Black people from being kind of ups. I mean, there's no such thing. I mean, there can be bad Black people. You get what I'm saying? Especially at that time, at that point in time in history. You know, I would love to see how some Black people would feel as far as like light skin, dark skin type situation. You get what I'm saying? I would like to see that type of stuff and see what kind of stuff that George, that, you know, Tick's son George goes through growing up, getting to the point of him writing the book.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You think light skinned Black people could use magic because, you know, half of them is like white?
Bro. What?
We can't go to Wakanda. We ain't supposed to use magic. Like we just can't.
I'm just saying, like.
Well, since we're asking questions about magic, at what point did Leti become magical? Is it because she's pregnant with Tig's baby? Because like she was spitting them words like that was in her bloodline too. Like she was down to get down. Like
one thing that I noticed throughout the episode, Leti was consistently studying. After that last episode, you can see throughout the whole episode, she was studying everything.
Oh, yeah.
Writing stuff down, just looking. She was really studying heavy. I think it just came from her actually nose to the ground and studying everything because she learned it all.
But then also remember, and I know this may not be it, but I'm still standing on this hill. Her mom, though she was a hustler and scamming people, her mama dabbled in that magical shit. Like that Caribbean woman with that goat didn't come from nowhere. That was from her mama's people. So I just like her mama, she might have been a scammer, but that motherfucker, she had something going on that Leti also got. You know, I don't know. I think her mama was magical too. Shit.
Her mama was a scammer.
Shit. You know, and speaking of them, I'm very disappointed that Marvin showed up once. Cause if I got a big brother and I'm going through hell and back, monsters fucking me up, my sister and me arguing, I'm calling my brother like, fam, if we end up dead, this is what happened.
Marvin wasn't having no
who that is.
That was the dude she had the argument with when they was on first or second episode.
Yeah, they stayed with them the second episode.
Yeah, remember when they were going to Artem and they stayed at that house, and then George and Atticus was outside talking, and she was inside arguing with that dude, tall, buff, dark skinned man.
Damn, now I gotta go back and I don't remember that.
She was the reason Leti got in the car from them in the beginning because she wasn't gonna stay in the city. She was like, "I'm gonna go stay with my brother," and she just tagged along with them. And then when she got there, the brother was like, "You ain't even come to our mom's funeral."
Yeah, yeah.
All right. It's slowly coming back to me. Listen, it's been so much. It's like my attention span is very short. Once you got shit popping out of the ground and you got, big buff white men with black people's body parts,
man,
it's a lot. You got tied up half of people in your closet at work.
The ghosts.
It's too much. It's too much.
No, I get that. Yeah, and his role, even in the book, was minor for all the stuff that they went through. But like, I wanted more from him. Yeah, I don't know. I expected for Leti and Ruby to not end as best friends, but for like through season 2 for them to come together. That being said, we don't know if Ruby is dead. Because remember, remember William, she had to put him in a coma in order
the comatose state, yeah.
And Dale was knocked out by Leti, but she wasn't dead. Your sister hit her and put her in a coma.
I won't say she don't deserve to come back, but I just feel like once they finally had that talk, because that was the major thing that I was waiting on for a lot of the season, was for Leti and Ruby to finally talk about what they were going through individually. And I feel like once they had that heart to heart, they were supposed to be able to squash everything and come together and finally be sisters. And when they didn't, in the episode Jigga Bobo, and instead of helping everybody, Ruby wanted to go back to that house and got told real quick exactly who she was when she got to that gate.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for William showing up to let her in, she was going, and she still wanted to turn into that mediocre white woman and still wanted to do all.
I gotta say though, I understand where she was coming from though.
Yeah,
the whole world was against her. She just wanted to feel like a person. So even though she was a mediocre looking white woman, she felt respected. She got the job that she was always trying to get. She got friends. She was able to dance dudes. I mean, I get it. I ain't saying it's right, but she did what she had to do. And also I gotta say, Leti was a terrible sister.
I mean,
she only came around when she needed some shit. She was extremely selfish.
Let me say something about that though, real quick. One thing about the show from the beginning to this episode was like Leti's journey was so cool to me because when she gets introduced, like she's kind of like a scammer, you know what I'm saying? Like she kind of like a hustling ass woman, you know what I'm saying? And then we get to the final episode where she's getting baptized, and she like you can consistently see her like moving towards when she had the speech with Tick about always looking for faith or always chasing faith, and she was like, yo, I found out that like faith has always been in me, like I found faith in myself. Just to see, like, you got to think, like, when she first came on the scene, she was drinking, she was singing a song with her sister. Her sister was like, I can't believe you back. The stuff that they talk so bad about, because apparently, you know, she was just like her mom. And then just to see her get to this point where she is in it, like you get midway through the season, she's always in church. She's praying. She's like, we got to get rid of this witchcraft stuff. We need to start following God. We need to do all of these things. And just to see like her strength at the end, like I love Leti's character throughout the whole season. I think she's one of my favorite characters on the show. I loved it all.
Okay.
I mean, I had to warm up to her. I was originally rooting for Ruby until she started with the shenanigans.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so hurt by her and her actions. Because I felt for her. Because I know we mentioned, you know, the dark skin, light skin thing earlier. I don't know what I missed when my computer was being ghetto, but I felt for her. And I feel like the only thing that made me gravitate to Leti as a character was the fact that she bought that house and she did everything to get that house to be able to help other people. And I feel like that is what kind of was like, oh, well, all right, give her a pass. You know, she wants to do good. You know, we'll hear the sister out. And then she ended up, you know, slowly but surely winning me over every, you know, bad decision Ruby ended up making. So.
Oh,
I
like that she wasn't a damsel in distress, like she was a real go-getter character, but she was flawed too. You know, that money to buy that house came from the Braithwaites or whatever their name is.
Yeah, that's
you know. And I really didn't understand why they gave them money. Was that to keep them quiet or what happened there?
That house, because all the men
they needed the house,
and Christina couldn't do it on her own. Pretty much, Christina the whole time has been like giving
playing both sides.
Yeah. She's like, y'all do it for me. You know, here's some shit to help you out, but ultimately you're doing this for me.
I love the stories that they didn't tell, because at the end of this episode, they went back to the house, and across the street, that house was being sold to a black couple. It was moving black people. So all the white people that was terrorized them, blowing their horns and whatnot, and puffing and huffing at them, moving in. It was being moved out. I was like, wow, there goes the neighborhood, huh?
Yeah.
Bring them black folks in. Come on, black people.
Man.
Come on in here.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, this was kind of full circle. This was something else. I like Ruby. I didn't like.
She was beautiful, but she was a horrible character.
Yeah. But can we talk about how Leti had only like one good, like real good, like she had this one outfit moment. And I know this is a bunch of dudes, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. I don't care. I don't like how they had her one time in that little like riding boot outfit, like super, you know, she was supposed to, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden she turned into the girliest girl ever. And I was just like, I wanted to see more of that. And that's part of the reason why I like the I Am episode so much, because you see Hippolyta go through so many different avenues of womanhood. Like you see her do the showgirl thing with Josephine Baker. You see her, you know, she got to do her scholarly thing and go on those adventures in another timeline with George, and like started, you know, looking at all of the different species and all of that shit and like studying and all. Like I loved watching her go through all of those changes. I just wish I could have saw that same thing for both Leti and in a way for Ruby too. Like again, the most you did was turn into this mediocre white woman and have sex with this pasty white man. That's all you accomplished, girl. Nothing else.
Sometimes it's all. No, she saved that black dude. The police was gonna yank up that black dude on the street, and she was like, "Nah,
all she did
officer."
was tell the truth.
I mean, that's a lot in them days.
You know what?
But even then, she was still black, like
right,
in that white body. But she was like, I think they failed with her story. To me, in the book, once y'all read it, like the way we get to the end with Ruby in the book, I didn't like it, but it's much more satisfying than this. I feel like with her and Hillary, I feel like there wasn't a focus. Like, where's the arc? Like, okay, even if she ends up dead, I'm fine with that. But wanting to work in Marshall Fields, hanging out for an episode, talking shit to the black woman, telling her shit she already know, you got to work twice. I was like, okay, well, you a white woman. This is all you doing. If I turn into a white woman tomorrow, I'm gonna go fuck some shit up.
Listen, if I turn into when the episode came out, I was like, if I was her and I had the opportunity to turn into a white woman, I'm going to get married tomorrow and I'm killing my husband the very next day. Like it's really that simple. Like it's really that simple. Like you want to go work in Marshalls? Are you crazy?
It's 1950.
Look at this. Well,
did y'all not just hear that plan that she just came up with just like that? Like nobody else is shot.
No,
you trying to kill the nigga to get the money.
Okay, so I had
I'm about to log out. I'm out.
I ain't mad at you.
Okay, sorry. Let me
I ain't mad at you.
No, you do you.
Right.
I'm just saying, why would you waste an opportunity like that to where you have all of this power in your hand at that time overnight and you have access to it, and the most you can think to do is to berate this other little black girl who got a job over you and hang out in the stock room with these other little, housewife bitches or whatever. Like what?
That's what her dream job was. Yeah. She wanted to get that job.
But that was the thing too. A white woman in those days was equal to or probably just a little step above being black. Like she didn't have any rights. She didn't have she wasn't able to say, "Hey, let me do this." No, you're a woman. Kitchen, food, that's it. That's how it was in those days. You can't No, you don't have an opinion. I'm a man. I'm a white man. You are a white woman. You do as I tell you to do and leave it at that.
I just can't imagine all of that black rage, all of that feminine rage, knowing that you deserve the job. Like, how did you go there and just want to be a man or just want to be a cashier and they gave you manager? You should have went in there wanting to be the boss, wanting to own that shit. Like, the fact that you couldn't have it should mean you should want to take it over, not just assimilate and fit right in. And I think that part really upset me to know that that's as far as she was willing to go with it. She was okay with sleeping with William even after she realized it wasn't William at all. Like, I just wish she could have came to some kind of realization about herself and about the struggles that she feel like she has went through and could have channeled that a whole lot better and did more with it. So yes, I sounded crazy earlier.
No, you good. We on the same page. Now, don't explain nothing to me. I really do enjoy Ruby's character because she didn't do what we were hoping she was going to do. She did what people do, and she took the selfish route out. She was like, I want to feel like a person. I'm finally here. I have a little bit of authority. I'm more qualified to do this job than this black woman, but they chose her because she's skinny, I guess, maybe. I don't know. And then when she applied. Huh?
Ruby didn't apply. She
didn't apply. I thought she did.
No, she never applied.
She said she was so worked up about applying. Then the girl said, "Oh, well, you ain't got no." Well, the girl was like, "Oh,
and I think that's what pissed her off. Is that when she asked the girl, she was like, "Yeah, they just needed a black girl, and they just hired me." And it's like, bitch, that could have been you had you just done what you needed to do.
Yeah, I missed that whole part. I missed all of that. My bad.
You mad at the world, and you not even taking the first step. Like.
Well, that makes it even more impactful, right? Because I see what you're saying. Like, she had an opportunity and she didn't do nothing with it. But that's her. That's staying true to her character.
And that's why she was upset with Leti a lot of the times. Like, yeah, she was a fuck up and she did whatever, but Leti got out there and did shit. Like, she ended up in jail, sure, but she did shit. So I mean, Ruby's not wrong in that regard. Everybody's life is not going to be the same, but like, if you ain't even taking the first steps, like, how you gonna be mad at this chick who did?
Yeah.
So,
and she was getting some penis.
I mean, you know what? I would have been more. I would have felt better about Ruby if, like, they were like she had an attraction to white men. Because I felt like she was settling. Now I don't know. I'm not a woman. I don't.
She was definitely settling because nothing else was coming towards her.
Because like what? But I don't understand why not. Like what? I don't know.
She was gorgeous.
Given the time period, it's one of those things where it's like you gotta almost like pick a struggle. Like if you're gonna be dark skinned, you gotta at least try to be slim. If you're gonna be big, you at least gotta be, it's one of those, and unfortunately, it's a lot of that still going on now. Like,
wait a minute, I'm big and dark skinned, I'm beautiful, baby.
Yeah, see, you're a man.
You ain't know what.
It's different when it's women. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother hour on a whole nother day. I just feel like they just should have talked. I don't. Somebody should have hugged her more. I don't know. Like
her mama.
I don't know.
Her mama. Okay.
Poor
so
thing.
Yeah, she was something else. I guess. I mean, who else is there? Atticus, yeah, but okay, him and Montrose. Seeing their story, seeing their progression, seeing episode 1 to now. What you got?
I loved it, man. Like he was like, "Boy, you so stupid. We ain't talked in 5 years, and you fight me on everything. You gonna come here after I wrote you a letter under duress?" It was like, shit. I just traveled across the world to save you, Daddy, and now this is how you treat me.
No.
But you realize that he was terrified because he didn't want anything to happen to his son. You know what I'm saying? And he was pushing him back because he really don't know how to love. Every time he tried, he got punished for it.
Lala fucked that up.
Which is why I'm glad he got his moment where I forget what the young man's name is. The Latino, he was at the ball doing his thing. I felt for Montrose in that moment where he was in the middle of the dance floor and just was able to like just
let it out.
His arms and just like enjoy that. And I think that was so big of a moment too. I know people, they claim that they're tired of hearing it, but they don't realize how much that means to somebody. Like to see somebody live in that moment and just be able to accept and say, this is me and I'm happy. That means the world to people.
Yeah. I mean, it opened my eyes to that situation. I'm a heterosexual man and I didn't understand the struggle. This just brought something that I would have never thought about to my attention. So, it's dope.
I mean, shit. If that happened, they've done their job. If one person was able to make it a bit more understanding, then they've done their job. Like that, there was a lot of pushback about the sex scenes with Montrose, and I think at the same time, P Valley was running maybe a little bit sooner, and so there were all sex scenes there, and it was like. I try not to have these conversations because I am queer and there's a bunch of people who are already discussing these things. But like, nigga, nothing under the sun is new. These sex scenes are scenes that me as a child, I'm having to watch these black and white movies with straight people fucking all the goddamn time, holding hands, kissing, tonguing each other down. And then you get a show that's an adult show having these actions where they're not even showing like it's porn.
Yeah.
And what about the kids? What kids sitting there watching Lovecraft Country in P Valley and
following the storyline and keeping up with all these complex thoughts and ideas.
So I don't know. Like I said, I try to keep my conversations about it brief because I know other people are doing their work. But like, nigga, gay people are alive and well. This ain't new. None of this shit is new.
I mean, I think they treated it fair because, like, maybe it was the first or second episode. he was looking for his father, and the dude walked into the bar, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, he in the back." And then you go to the back, and then the dude getting his dick sucked, and he's like, "All right, whatever." You know what I'm saying? It's just a normal thing. Like, all right,
yeah,
shit happens.
yeah.
So
it be like that sometimes.
Hey,
yeah.
But I feel like that moment, you know, in the last episode where he got to explain to him, like, I have to come back and save this, you know, my friend or whatever, whoever, or I guess like his first boyfriend, essentially. And like he goes through the story and tells him of, you know, this is the part where I told him that I wasn't gay and I made him feel bad about himself and I hated it and I blame myself all of these years for denying who I was in that moment. So I gotta save him. I think that was the point where Tick really realized, like, okay, I gotta accept this man for who he is. Like, even though they had that moment before where he dropped the F-bomb, you know, all of that doesn't matter because he realized, like, I can't hate him any more than he hates himself for the things that he's done. So the most I could do is love him in this moment and try to help him past that. And I think that was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, again, just great writing. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here. Yeah.
It's like a, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I get it. We here.
It's a lot.
We here. It's it. Cole.
Oh my God. I'm sitting here watching it in your background.
No, man. I don't think I can really say it as well as those two said it. I mean, the writing's amazing. Are we gonna talk about the end?
I mean, yeah. At this point, yeah. Go ahead.
I just think the whole thing with them having a plan, everybody getting in the car, going down there, and the reveal of Ruby actually being Christina fucked me up. I said it fucked me up when Ruby showed up too, and I was like, "You better not trust her." I said, "Do not trust her."
Yeah,
she knows too much. But when she sat up there and said, you know, when she was like the witching hour, she looked at me, she was like the witching hour, and then Leti looked at her, was like, "What you say?" And she's like, "Well, I'm so glad you agreed to it at the cemetery." She was like, "Yeah, me too." And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
That fucked me up. On top of the fact that they had this fight and Leti falls out of the window onto the ground, and the first thing I'm thinking is like, the baby's dead.
Baby.
Yeah. The fight. That baby's dead. That fight, nigga. That baby been dead.
I felt like my chest got tight. Like, I felt like I just had a reaction to it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this, why is this happening now? Like, what?
Right.
Like, she was so close. But a part of me wants to know, like, I feel like in that moment in the car, did anybody else like feel a little bit of eerie? Like, even though it was a fun, lighthearted moment, something about all of them.
Yeah, it was creepy.
It was creepy as hell to me.
Something about it didn't sit right with me, and I couldn't put a finger on why. And now it makes sense. Like, how did I feel that?
Yeah.
I think it was too happy for that tense moment. Like, they were singing and having a jolly, car ride, and they were about to go kill people,
But isn't that sad that we can't have happiness without it, like something like looming over us? Like, we can't just be chill. Like,
but that's the testament to the show. Like, you have to question everything in this show. Like shit. Like, because I thought I was waiting on a car to be behind them, or like
something.
That's what I was waiting on. I was either waiting on some type of warlock to come out or the police.
Yeah, I thought the police was coming. Yeah.
I was waiting on some reality shit to happen or some magical shit to happen.
Right. Yeah.
They was way too happy. I was like, okay, this is when the racist cop pulls up and pulls them all out and puts them on the street and beat them.
Because that would be too much like real life. Like, just when you enjoying yourself, just when the very last person who was holding out from the fun decides to join in. Whoop, whoop.
Even Montro's son.
Yeah, and that was like, what? Okay, Uncle.
It was
Where's your flask? What you drinking on?
Yo,
because you got to be drinking for you to sing.
Hey, I don't know. You know, him and his son cool. He could be himself now. You know, or his nephew son is cool, and you know, so I mean, yeah, that third act was something else.
Before we get to that point,
first of all, go ahead.
I wanted to say the biggest scare in this whole episode was when Atticus was walking towards the little circle and then white people just appeared.
Man.
I was like, nigga, I was scared.
Yeah, I was like, no, fuck yeah, that I'd have been
I didn't know if they were real or if they were like spirits or like I didn't know what they were.
I was like, yo, I'm out. I'm gonna leave.
That was them people from the second episode in Artem, who was like the Amish people. That was them. But even still, like y'all white, y'all got on like white shirts, and you just come out the shadows. No, man.
Nigga, how did they know he was coming? They just appeared.
Yeah. That was more scary than the shit. Yeah.
Then they grabbed the dude bag. I was like, oh Lord.
That.
No,
hey, they was giving him. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just waiting on them to be like, "What you doing here, boy?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, honestly,
that's what I was waiting on.
Yeah. You ain't even wrong.
Hey, they was giving them that business though on that bridge. Like everybody was fighting. That was
Avengers Endgame. That was they was like motherfuckers there.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you see my girl Hippolyta with the blue hair with the
she was handling them.
She was getting it in. Yeah. Oh my God! I was like, yes, warrior princess. You better use all them centuries.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Oh shit. I don't know, man. Another thing I think they kind of failed with was Jihad, because I like her. I like that she was in it, but it felt like not a MacGuffin. It just felt like, oh, we need a reason to have her here. Like we got a whole episode dedicated to her, and this is like if they do a season 2, she would need to be in Chicago. Like we just got you using your powers to like connect Atticus and Christina. Like that wasn't good enough.
You think so? I think it was a neat little, real cute, precise.
But like, why is that all we got? I feel like I loved episode 6, but I feel like if this is what was going to come of Jihad, why have that full episode and why not have it in flashbacks? I love the episode.
I think it was good to have.
It was too deep. It was too deep for just flashback. But go ahead, Cole. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I really felt like that was good background for her. I think they wanted you to feel the character, and they wanted you to kind of have some type of feeling for her and understand her relationship with Tick, other than just the woman on the phone.
Yeah,
I thought it was super important to have that episode. I think that we didn't get enough of her, but it was much other story to be told. Like, where you really fit her in, but her piece was so important to me. Her piece was super important, just for the simple fact of going to her coming to America just to be like, you're gonna die, and I need to I'm trying to do something. And the what she did at the end, I thought it was important. I feel like it was just enough.
No, I agree. What I'm saying is, I like everything. I like episode 6. I like what she did in this one too. But I'm saying, I just feels like you introduced her. Of course, she's important. We get that, but I feel like they didn't use her enough after that, because we got a whole. It's me. I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to see more of her, but I just feel like they could have used her more. But
I mean, I think her story gets told in a way where it's like, she's this. Her mother did this thing to her to try to save her, so now she's obligated to do it. Because even with the story of like her not really wanting to date or like her not being able to say the right thing in the speed dating, or even when she did feel like she connected with somebody, they still just felt something was a little off with her and crossed her number off the list. And then to kind of hint towards she may actually be lesbian because she had that little thing with the other girl, you know, for a little moments. I feel like they told enough of her story to like you know, Cole said, made you feel for her as a character, but it also makes you understand like she could have killed him. She could have went and killed somebody else and saved herself. She could have did so many other things, but she chose to enjoy her life as that monster. I forget what it's called.
Succubus, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was a succubus.
And you know, keep that memory of Tick and wanting to keep him safe, and that love being that real. Like, I mean, to tell a nigga I was gonna kill you, but I love you and I'm gonna keep you alive, like that's love for real.
That's black man magic.
Somebody having that conversation right now. Okay.
Black man magic, whatever.
Oh shit, yeah.
I have a question, and this is something that I've been confused from the episode. Montrose, the episode where they brought the Indian woman back from the dead, he slit her throat.
He killed her.
Why did he kill her?
Okay.
You remember that.
Yeah, I be looking.
That's on the part of the show. That's not on the part of Montrose. That I kind of give him a pass for that because the show handled that poorly. And Misha Green even said, like, at hindsight is 2020, and Yahima being a two-spirit person, I want to say a stand-in for, or it was a trans person. I'm not sure about the specific classification, but she said she really feels like they dropped the ball. And in so many words, that's what she said. And so that's why I'm able to give Montrose a pass on that murder, even though it happened on the show. It's because there was no point. Like, why introduce this person to kill them off? Like, you didn't even introduce Yahima in the beginning of the episode. We in Act 3, 2 minutes left, before countdown, and then he slit this motherfucking throat, and then they're just gone.
No, didn't she make it to the next episode, or he killed her on that same episode?
No, he killed her.
I killed them.
And then just like, yep, I killed her. That's it. Oh well, get over it. And everybody got the fuck over it. Like nobody asked for explanation, nothing.
Well, Tick beat his ass after that.
Damn, they're about to kill him.
Did whoop that. It's like I done went through hell and high water to get your ass back, and this is what you do.
Yeah, like that alone, man. I'm really frustrated with the show because I get Montrose had secrets. Hell, we found out he was dyslexic on like episode 8.
I love that shit.
when he killed Yahima, I'm thinking it's for a larger reason, like him and Yahima knew each other back in another life, or Yahima was the source of all of it. Like Montrose didn't have as many secrets as I thought he did. So that murder was like, what the? I'm
gonna have to watch it again. Did she say she knew who he was or something like that? Like maybe she knew.
I think he was like, I see you or recognize you, but I didn't take it as I know this person personally. It was like I see.
Or I know you gay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is like,
and I'm like, if that caused you to kill this motherfucker, now we really got problems.
Okay. So let me say this. So we understand now that he's always kind of been like that, and then they have this situation where him and George they know, but they don't know who Tick's father is. But they kept referencing it in the rewind episode, like, oh well, we made that we came to that conclusion, or we have this bond, or whatever. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, who is the pappy?
The bond, I think, was from them being in that traumatic event, getting attacked by the white folks. Like he said, you don't go through something like that with somebody and not. So what I'm thinking is, George and her was a thing. They all went through that shit together that kind of bonded them all. Like we thick as thieves, and maybe Montrose slid in a little bit.
Yeah,
I think Montrose actually slept with her. I don't think she was just a beard and that's it. I think he actually slept with her.
I don't because I have a few different scenarios in my head. I feel like maybe her and Montrose were a thing, but because he was gay, they was never really able to like really do for real. And then she may have slid off with George, and then when she popped up pregnant, it was kind of just like, it's your baby, and it was fine. But then it also could just be that maybe it really was George, but because they knew he was gay, or he might have told them, so George let them be together so that he could have a cover. It's just it left too much for my brain to make up and fill in blanks, and I get a little crazy with that. So I don't want to. Do they not mention what that unbreakable bond is in the book, or what?
No, because in the book, Montrose is not gay.
Oh.
Yeah, so in the book,
don't ruin the book for me. I just got this thing.
I mean, he's gay. No, I'll say this without spoiling any more of the book. In the book, a lot of stuff that was changed for the show. Once you read the book, you'll see the significance in it. But their relationship it's just as complicated in the book, but in a different way. I'll say that.
Okay. I could take that. I could take that. I could take that.
If you look at your TV, Rhayne, you'll see the scene where they're about to kill the main Breakwhite or whatever his name is.
Titus,
Titus. Did they cut his heart out or just took a chunk of his skin?
They just needed the skin.
Oh, I thought they took the heart. Oh, I was like,
it was the heart. The way he was talking, I was like, cut that nigga.
It was like the dick, and he disappeared.
Nah, they just needed. All they needed was a piece of each of their skin to be able to do the binding spell. They just needed. All they needed was a piece of each person to be able to do the binding spell.
Gotcha.
So he chopped off a piece of his chest. I know it was like, oh, he took his heart out. Like, nah.
But now I want to know whose blood that was that he drank. Who did he bind himself to if it wasn't Christina? Who was he now bound to?
It's probably Ruby's blood, which could bring her back to life, probably.
I didn't think about that.
It could be, or even if she really wanted to get sneaky, it could be William's blood, but I don't know. We don't know, man. I don't know.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, Leti came back to life.
Yeah, so like that was another thing. At what point did that reverse? Like, because it reversed all the way back to her getting her immunity back. Like, what part of the game was that? When did they slip that incantation in the mix?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
I'm thinking it's got something about her dealing with God because she was like, God's gonna watch out for us. Yeah, but I don't know. I have to watch it again, I guess.
You know what? Yeah. And I probably end up like, now that all of the episodes are out, I'm probably gonna have a day where I'm just gonna watch everything and kind of like try to put all of the things that I may have missed before and put it all back together. But again, like I'm pleased. I was thoroughly entertained.
Yes.
I was, here for the whole story, beginning to end. This was great, and we need more of it.
Yeah, same. Shit, Cole. What you got? What you got for
two last things for me, and then whatever you want to do, we can do. One, the scene where Montrose was trying to get Tick to wake up and take him home. Come on, man.
It got to me.
Come on, man. Like, don't do that. He was trying hard, and when they carried Tick off, and when he was trying to wake him up, and they gave Montrose the letter, and then when they was carrying him off, and just understanding like the weight of Tick dying and how it affected everybody, man, that hurt me. That hurt me bad, man. Because Tick was, I enjoy all the characters that was on this show. And then this episode, Tick was so vulnerable. Like, this is probably the most vulnerable we've ever seen him in any of the episodes.
He said he didn't want to die, mama.
Man, come on.
I was crying. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, somebody was cutting onions.
It choked. I got choked up, man.
Yeah.
And he already knew from when him and Hippolyta went through the portal the first time, and he was like, she went to the past, I went to the future. I know how this ends. Like, I know what's like, just knowing, like, having that amount of assurance, like, you know what it is, this is it. And if it's going to happen, fuck it. We going to, ride this till the wheels fall off. That's different. That's different. Because I don't know if I could be that calm, that's that collected, that well put together. Like I don't know if it could have been me.
And when you have a purpose and a responsibility, I mean, you gotta handle your job.
I think the scene that happened right before they left, where Tick was looking outside, he turns around, he sees everybody, like he's seeing and I think that was when he was like, I'm making peace with this right now because
we're gonna be okay.
This is it for me. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know. Right. And the song, was it a church song? I don't even know if it was a church song they was playing, but the song they was playing when he was looking at all of his family and everybody doing their job, it was a lot, man. This episode,
he made peace with it, and he lied to his father. He that's why Leti looked at him like, "What are you talking about? You're gonna die." And he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna be all right." I mean, he had to lie to him.
He said it was he said that's just one. He's
of
like,
many possibilities.
Dr. Strange, whatever, Dr. Strange.
Yeah, Dr. Strange.
So I have a question, and then I'll leave it alone. So does Hippolyta have she knows how to control the time machine, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she could technically go back in time and fix all this, right?
Well, I don't think so. I say that
you got Marvel Universe time travel or Back to the Future time travel.
Well, because there's so many, what was it? Infinite timelines. I don't know that you going back changes what has to happen. Like if she went back, like they went to 1921, didn't really change nothing, but had they have changed something, the future would have been different. So I think her going back, hell, if she could go back, I'm sure she would have went and got George. Like,
that's what I was saying. Like I want
all these other people before Atticus. So I don't think it's that easy, especially when I was thinking when she was talking to Diana, why don't you just go back in the past to right before Diana got attacked, grab her, bring her to the future? Like, so I don't think it works like that. But if the season 2 happened and she brings people back to life, then I'm gonna be. But there's infinite timelines. So
their sacrifice needs to pay off, so they can't come back.
Yeah. Ooh. What?
So,
because it's like I
don't. Why did D become a murderer? Why did D kill the white lady at the end, Christina?
She was like, "You still don't."
Yeah.
First of all, white people have done D wrong the whole time she's been on the scene.
True.
From that man spit on her forehead.
Mm-hmm.
From the one on the train track who was ignoring her when she saw them dancing and coming towards her.
Nobody else could see it.
Nobody, but they didn't even care to think to be like, all right, this little girl is in trouble. Like it was fuck her from jump, and she was not with the shit. Then to see this woman put your whole family at risk, have your whole family going crazy and all of that. Nah, fuck all of y'all. Like,
and then took her ability to draw away.
Yeah, now that as an artist, you I'm crushing your neck for that alone. What's wrong too? Yeah,
that was horrible.
Yeah. But I'm mad. Well, I'm not mad. I'm happy she got that resolution, but I'm like, oh, D shouldn't have had to kill her. Like,
yeah, it was kind of weird.
Who gave her the arm though? Like, did we have
Hippolyta?
Mama,
Because she said, remember when she was like, here's the comic. She was like, Mom, where you learn how to draw like that? She was like, well, I learned from such and such, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. And I think she took her and was like, hey, like, let me just get you an arm.
Yeah.
And that arm was dope.
But wasn't somebody in a dream? They were saying the lady with the robotic arm, like, Wasn't that
Oh,
something?
you're right. What episode was that?
I forget, but it was something that came from it. It was like, yeah, I seen her too, or some shit like that.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
that was like after episode 6.
I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. It's just so many little things that they kind of just like, some things they planted little seeds, some things they kind of just handed it to you and was like, we just gonna get this to you and move along.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah, that. Let's go to our favorites here. Marie.
My favorite one.
Character of the season, of the episode. Like, who was your? Once the credits roll, that's my favorite.
My favorite character would have to be Hippolyta because of what she represents. And also because, much like myself, I would have showed up mad late to everything and be like, what y'all got going on? And be like, oh shit. And the way she just rolled up, like, niggas is losing their minds, everything is falling apart, and she just popped back in like, hey guys, what's up? And it was like, bitch, where have you been?
Right.
What is going on? Tick been back. Like, why your ass did not come back through the portal?
She went forward. Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that would so be me. Like, yes, I want to go fight with the warriors. I want to go dance with Josephine Baker. I want to, learn everything there is to learn, do math in my head, see the stars, the planets, and the moon. Like, I want to be able to do all of that.
I'll give you the world and all that you've been through. Okay. No, okay, cool. I think that's a solid choice. Shogun, what about you? Who's your favorite? Who's your
favorite character still and will forever be George. He set the groundwork of everything. He might have had a little bit of screen time, but he had the most impact to me. He was a historian. He was a jack of all trades. He kind of was like, what are these things? Are these vampires? He was able to put everything together in a short amount of time. And then when he was gone, I felt it. There was no explanation throughout the rest of the show. Like, he was able to explain stuff just like that. And then when he was gone, I was like, man, now what? So I got to give it to George because he had the most impact to me. Second favorite was probably Montrose because his story is the most interesting. I was just like, wow, I had no ideal, you know what I mean? And so since it was something that I was not expecting, I was the most intrigued by it. So, I mean, yeah.
That's fair. Cole Jackson.
For the entire series, right?
Yeah.
I'm probably this is probably cheating, but oh well. It's gonna have to be Tick and Leti. I think Tick and Leti. I love Letty's journey through the whole thing. Like, I thought,
right?
Unintended. I think Letty's whole journey through the whole from season 1 all the way to tonight's episode was just amazing to me. I just thought it was a really well told story about her. I hope Journey Smollett gets some type of award for her. She played the hell out that part. Like that episode when them girls was in them that house. Come on now, when them Spears was in there, that was amazing. That was amazing.
What about her lemonade moment when she was over them from in front? She had it. Right.
When she found out she was pregnant, the whole story with her siblings and her family, everything around Leti just really, I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. I think Journey acted her ass off again. Yeah. And then with Tick, I just like Tick's character. I just like this character. I liked him through the whole thing. And just to get to this moment of him having to die, you know what I'm saying? For him to be able, for things to just move forward. And then his whole, him really like, I got to use this magic to protect my family. I gotta get through. I gotta figure this magic out. This is it's too much. There's so much lineage behind my name. I don't know why. I don't know what makes me so special. I just enjoy both of those characters. So for the whole season, it's got to be Tick and Leti.
Okay. I gotta go with Christina.
What?
JK.
Shit out of you.
I mean, I did like that Bentley though. That was a nice car.
Nigga.
I mean,
fuck her, man. I'm really
her outfits were cute.
She was killing it, dog. She was killing it.
That black and gold.
She gave a good look, whatever.
And then my eyes, nigga, I was like, shit, you know. Let me get one of them that little potions, nigga. I'm, you know.
No, it's really hard. I don't.
That's a good question. If you had that potion, who would you want to turn into?
I'm drinking it. 2 at a time, my nigga. 2 at a time. I'm doing this.
Who would you want to turn into?
Me as a white person.
Lord.
I want to experience privilege.
Yeah, I get it. Shit. Who would you turn into?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be ignorant and say 50 Cent.
What the fuck?
He ain't white.
He's not. But you want to know something? He gets to be as childish and as petty and as ignorant and he wants to be, and he still finds a way to get paid while doing it. And I cannot do anything but respect that.
They should have canceled 50 Cent a long time ago, but he's uncancelable.
It just doesn't stop. Like, it just doesn't stop. So,
but you could turn to any white person. You chose to be a black man.
Why would I want to? First of all, okay, let me see. Because don't get me wrong, I do have my white faves. I will say that. So if I had to turn into a white person,
white fave.
Oh,
faves. Okay.
Like, but see, just because I have white faves, I don't think I would want to be them. Like, I like Rachel McAdams. I don't want to be her.
I don't know what that is.
Regina George.
Yeah.
Oh.
On Wednesdays we wear pink. Duh.
Where you been?
You would. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean. Who would you turn into? Like, who would you, if you would be anybody white, who would you turn into? And I should not say that with the look of disgust on my face. Let me ask that again.
I don't know. Cole, you got, because I can't know.
Cole would turn into a dark skinned Cole.
There you have it.
I'm joking, man.
There you have it. I don't know. I don't know.
George Clooney.
I don't want to be those proud. I don't want to.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to.
The privilege doesn't outweigh the problems in that regard, and I can't deal with that. Like, I can't. There's nothing.
You don't want to just walk into a store and be like, "I'm thinking about buying this," and people take you serious.
No, because again, I am ignorant. I want to be I want to be able to walk in and afford it and make you mad that you have to service me because I can afford it.
I see.
You have I'm not.
You want me to get rid of seasoning and soul and dancing?
You want me to put raisins
anything in your life?
Seasoning.
You can have anything in your life but seasoning. No Old Bay.
Come on, man. You're asking a lot.
Anything. You can have a house in the best part of town without any kind of tax deductions or anything.
Nah, but my neighbors don't look like
with a brick.
I still want to claps on the 2s and 4s. I don't want to change to the 1s.
You don't have to do that. You can enjoy any type of music at any rhythm and dance your own type of way.
No.
That's all right.
You guys are
racist.
4.5 to get you the game. That's what I know. That's what I know.
Man, I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm drinking it still. I'm sorry. I'm turning to a white person. I gotta double down on it.
You know what?
Yeah,
I do have somebody. I would be Drake.
Drake already took that potion. Every album
Wait.
he's a new person.
Wait. I
You
want to
wanna
hear.
be
I want to hear
champagne
him out. I
poppin'.
want to hear him out. Why would you choose Drake?
Drake is on top of the world right now. You can do whatever you want to. Have you seen his mansion? Good. He got plenty of money. He is set. He got a. Have you seen?
He the best of both worlds. He black and white.
Black and white, yeah.
Quito.
See? That's Drake, right? That's what you get for
It was Drake. They'll cut me out.
He was like, so I heard my name. See, Drake took him out the game.
See, now I don't feel so bad. It wasn't just me.
You better praise that Jewish king. You better praise him.
See, somebody just revoked his black card. They was like, nope, you would take the potion. You got to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't do it. The ancestors is not happy.
Nah. God. I don't know, man. This has been cool. I'm enjoying it. I'm happy it happened. I'm interested to see what comes next. Actually, here's a good question. What are y'all getting into after this show? So now that this is over, is there like a show that you want to watch that you never watched? Something you want to revisit? Like, did this inspire you to look for something else?
Well, right before Lovecraft Country came on, I had just gotten into a show. I believe it's on, what was it? It was Showtime or something, but The Good Lord Bird.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so it's a brand new show with Ethan Hawke, and it's called The Good Lord Bird.
I see.
And apparently, he's trying to be that white guy from Django, where he's going and freeing slaves. He's doing it in the name of the Lord.
Oh yeah.
So
and he's got that little kid.
Yes, and so it's a little boy who they got dressed as a little girl, and he's kind of like going through,
That show looks wow.
Yeah, I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to give too much away, but it is worth getting into. It's a slow build for the first episode, but once you get into it and you learn the characters, it makes it a little easier to follow. So I'm interested to see how it goes. It's like 3 episodes right now, and I've watched all 3 of them. So, The Good Lord Bird.
The Good Lord. Okay. I'm gonna check that out. What about you, Cole?
This book. Okay. I'm gonna read the Lovecraft Country book. The season finale is here. It's come and gone. I really want to see what did I miss out via the book, and then I kind of want to compare and contrast and see.
Shit, we might have to do a book club then. You know what I'm saying? Finish up.
You know what? I would love that because I want to know what the next, Black Nerd book that's going to get turned into a TV show is going to be. Because I don't like being on the after end. I want to be beginning of the wave.
Right. Yeah, I caught this one by accident. It feel like shit, but I was on that motherfucker. Shogun. So now that the show is over and done. Is there a show that you're watching next? Is there something that you wanted to revisit? Is there like where do you go after this?
So there's a couple of themes in this that I really enjoyed, and it was the time travel part. There's a show on Netflix called Dark it's a German show, but you can watch it with English subtitles, and it's about time travel, but it's several different layers deeper than the time travel that was in Lovecraft Country. So I need to finish that. The second season came out and I haven't finished it all, but that show is really amazing based on the concept by itself. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish Dark. It's on Netflix.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think I started watching that, but I didn't get too far.
It's very slow and hard to watch because of the subtitles. But if you stick with it, it's a mind bender. Like,
okay, I might have to revisit it.
Subtitles.
But you can watch it with English dub, and it's a little bit better.
Do English dub. I could do that. I could do that.
It starts off with this kid that disappears, and then I don't want to spoil the story.
Okay,
it gets wild with the stories and the concept of time travel.
Okay.
What
about you, sir? What are you doing?
For me, I'm going with Watchmen, but November I'm actually going to be writing a novel with the National Novel Writing Month. So I'm trying to. What thank you?
You just gonna pop the collar on us like that?
That's
how you do it?
I'm hoping to be done, but Watchmen is my next. Okay, go.
Like, oh, I just want to be done with this shit.
No. Watchmen is my next go-to. Now that I got this shit up, I want to do the podcast series, but I do want to get into Watchmen, and because it's already done, I want to watch it how I watched Lovecraft Country. I'm only going to watch one episode a week. Like, even though I can watch them all at once, I still want to take
You
my
want to
time.
pace yourself.
Watchmen is very dope, and it's got a lot of themes that are very true to life to what's going on in the real world. You know, it's they do a lot with reparations, and it's like a what if Black people actually got reparations.
I've only seen the first episode, so
Really?
yeah, I'm gonna get into it too. But I gotta dig into this book. I haven't read a good book in a long time, so it's funny. I told the woman at the bookstore when I picked it up, I was like, "Yo, this might get me back into actually like reading some shit for what I'm saying, for a change." I've been so buried in TV since the pandemic and quarantine and stuff like that, and I was like the show was so good, I literally I was like, I'm getting this book today, and went on the search for it and got it. And I was like, I'm gonna read this book because the story is so good. The story was so good, and I was like, I got it. There's something in this book that they didn't show me, and I want to know what it is.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, well, y'all, it's been something. We got any final thoughts? So you was going to say something. What's up?
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, I wonder why Tick didn't actually tell anybody that he's seen supernatural things when he came back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was already semi-prepared for all the stuff that was going on because what happened in Korea. You know what I mean?
Well, who was he going to tell? Who was he going to tell?
I guess so.
Like, okay, I'll say this. Cole, when you read the book, I'll just say when you read the book, because. But yeah, honestly, in the show, who is he gonna tell? Like, George is probably the only one he could say something to, and then he'd be like, "All right." But like Leti, Montrose beat his ass behind liking to read. Like, no, like who was he gonna tell?
And that was another theme that kind of like. This idea that Black kids should not be avid readers, like the fact that D got possessed or was tormented by characters from a book.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing that you gotta try not to miss. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then George being the avid reader that he was, and like having all of those different books, that was what he was interested in when they first got to that big house.
Yeah.
Letty was in there shopping, till she dropped. He in there reading books. Like that's
George like, I'm on.
Yeah, he's taking them off the shelf. Yeah.
I was here for it. But that's what I'm saying. Like of all the outfits she had, she picked this badass outfit with the riding boots and then never wore it again.
Yo, it was fire though. It was fire though.
That was probably her best fit, honestly.
I was
like, oh, she about to.
I don't even like them like light skin, but I was looking.
I'm just saying, everything was just so well tailored. The leather, the caramel color. Like, listen,
them pants was well tailored.
Then did nothing. It's a disappointment.
Pants in.
You know what?
Oh no! Wait. She had some dresses on that was kind of fire. Like she had this one thing.
Orange pants.
Never mind.
That orange one, yeah.
Orange pants did enough for me.
Okay.
I follow her on Twitter.
Hey, what happened to the dude with the toothpick?
Me being a girl, I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you good. You good. What toothpick?
The dude with the toothpick who was trying to get at her, and Tick was
just
like,
what was that? Philadelphia?
They wrapped that up.
Yeah, they gone. They left that one. He's fuck him. Fuck Tree. Fuck ass.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that lie.
Yeah. You know why they call me Tree, huh?
Just lying on his.
Yeah, fuck him. Okay, so let these folks know where they can find y'all online. You know, your social media, they can follow you, have some discussions, support your work, and all that good stuff. Go ahead, T Marie, let these folks know where to catch up with you.
So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Just Call Me T Marie. Same thing on Twitter, minus the first T. It's just JUS, Call Me T Marie. And I also have my own podcast that I'm bringing back because, you know, I went on another break, but now I'm going to be coming back. And you can find that at PCPOV, Parkchester Point of View.
PCP?
PCPOV. Everybody stops at PCP.
I mean,
but no, it's Parkchester Point of View. That's where I'm from in the Bronx.
Oh, I got you.
You know, I just talk about my point of view on different things, whether it be reality TV show, pop culture, politics, a little bit that I do get into.
Okay.
Just, you know, talking about my own little, you know, spiel and how I feel about certain things. Because, you know,
Yes, there's quality content, and been doing this since before the podcast. I remember them Facebook lunches.
My lunchtime lives kind of you know got me lit. But you know, check me out. I do a lot of things. I talk a lot of shit.
Good shit too. Good shit. And then this dynamic duo. What's up?
Well, you can find me as my name says, Shogun from the Government Name Podcast. It's GUBMINTNAME. That's Shogun from the Government Name Podcast. We do a weekly checks and balance of social commentary. So we talk about everything. And this week's episode, we kind of get into Ice Cube. It's the shirt and the Compton hat. And black people being Republicans and getting a lot of heat for it. So if you are interested in that dialogue, make sure you check out the Government Name Podcast. It's GUBMINTNAME.
I'm gonna listen to that.
You might like me now. You're gonna hate me by the end of that episode.
You can listen to last week's episode if you want to. You can listen to all. We're on all forms DSPs. Pick one. We're on there. You can catch me on Instagram at ColeJackson12, or you can catch me on you can catch me on Twitter at ColeJackson12, or you can catch me on Instagram at ColeJackson_B1K. I'm always on, well, not always. I'm usually on somebody's podcast doing something, but we have the podcast. We have the podcast that comes out every Tuesday. Me and good old Shogun, the man, the myth, the legend. And you could also catch me with Carefree Black Nerd doing our thing. Everybody's a part of the BYK Radio family. We're a podcast network. We are the culture.
I gotta go follow y'all now.
Yeah,
I just followed you.
As soon as you say that, I got the notification.
Follow, like. All the links in the show notes, y'all listeners. So please check out those show notes to get those Shogun, Cole Jackson, just one T, call me T Marie on Twitter. And of course, me, Rhayne Coleman, the Carefree Black Nerd, Carefree Blurred on Twitter, Carefree Black Nerd everywhere else. This has been the finale episode of Lovecraft Aftermath, celebrating this blackness in horror, drama, sci-fi, Afrofuturism, good storytelling,
black aliens,
beyond cess, Diana, George. So yes, thank you all for listening. Those of you podcasters, if you want to see our lovely faces, going over to YouTube, that link will be in the show notes as well. You can see the visual of this episode. I mean, this has been nice. You know, we gotta do this again, y'all.
Most definitely. I like that you're going to YouTube, bro. This is always dope.
Yeah, I gotta make that transition. Man.
We literally just had this discussion like today. I was like, hey man, I've been thinking about, you know, getting us on, you know, streaming stuff, other stuff. But it's dope. I like it.
All right. We in this thing. So if you do want to reach out to me, if you want to get your thoughts and opinions on an episode and you don't want to be on it, maybe send me a voice memo, carefreeblacknerd@gmail.com. Linktree /carefreeblacknerd, all that good shit. So links in the show notes. Stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, and stay away from your distant white cousins, because them motherfuckers mean you know goodness. If they name Christina, if they a break wife, if they blonde and long hair, and that's your distant cousin, stay the fuck away, fam. Nah.
Stay away from mediocre white women.
Oh man, this has been real. All right, y'all.
Peace.